Good morning, my angels. I have a message for my divine feminines, especially divine feminines who are and identify with a twin flame journey. And it came to me in a dream. I had a pretty intense dream, and I'll tell you all about it in a moment because it was quite disturbing. But the message is whenever you watch content about twin flames and content creators that talk about twin flames, ask yourself those three questions. Does this person say what I want to hear or what I need to hear? Second question, do they keep me in my comfort zone or do they push me outside of my comfort zone for me to grow? And a third question, do they activate and feed my fear or do they activate love and hope? And the third question is tricky because with activating fear, we sometimes don't really know it and understand it because not all content creators that activate fear pop on and say, oh, twins are just something that doesn't exist and you're just delusional. But sometimes it's done in a very subtle way. They say things that you want to hear, but you don't realize that you're still sitting in a place of fear, and that feeds this fear. So for example, they say, oh, your person is, returning, which feeds your fear in reality, because your fear is that they won't return. And on this journey, you don't need to know whether and when are they returning. This journey is not about your masculine returning, and it's a misconception, right? And yes, sometimes, we need to talk about these things to prepare you in order to, because they're returning for a test, they're returning for a trigger, but it's not to give false hope and feed the Lulu. And the reason I'm sharing this message with you is because 90%, and it's very sad, and I'll tell you in a moment why that actually is, but 90% of content creators, of people who come online and talk about twin flames, they either have no idea what they're talking about because they haven't been on a journey. They're not true twin flames. They've never been on a journey, or they thought they were on a journey and they were in a karmic connection. Part of those people, unfortunately, don't have bad intentions, but are feminines who are very early on the journey. So they share messages that about things that they don't fully yet understand. So they can be very confusing, right? So they either talk about things that even if they receive these things in downloads or in their experience, they may be downloads that they don't fully understand. Or there may be situations that they receive downloads specifically for their own journey and for their own path, and they share it as a generic information and a generic guidance. They themselves sometimes sit in a place of, I'm not yet sure, I go in and out, I'm fearful, I'm still in longing, and that energy is always transmuted into your messages. And the most dangerous part of those 90% are people who are actually low vibrational, bad energy. And some of these people sometimes, which is very sad, are tapped in and have some sort of a gifts or psychic abilities, but they went to the dark side. One of these days, they simply decided that it's more profitable, that you get more views when you feed fear, when you leave short messages, when you talk about things that are popular, when you say things that people want to hear, not things that people need to hear. I myself know quite few amazing content creators. Few of them are readers, psychics, and shamans. Few of them are coaches that are those that the feminines should follow, that push you, that really talk about, they know what they talk about. They talk about this journey. But like I said, overall, and it's something I've confirmed many times with my guides, it's no more than 10%. And now I want to tell you why is happening and what came to me in a dream. I have a very disturbing dream this night. I was dreaming that I was in my father's basement in a house that I grew up in, and we had like a half basement, and he had his offices there, because his workshop were behind our house in a garden. We had a quite large piece of land. It was probably put in that place because it was a place of my house that when I was little, I would always fear. And also because one of the biggest struggles for me on this journey was a very deep father wound, that came along with abandonment wound, with rejection wound. And on this journey, as I started to go deeper, long time ago, it was actually shown to me through my shamanic journey that it wasn't just the father wound from this lifetime, but very deep and intense father wounds from past lifetimes. So I thank the soul of my father for activating that within me in this lifetime, as I was able to heal it on a level of all the lifetimes I've been through. So I was dreaming I was there, and I can't remember exactly what was happening, but it was dark, it was cold, it was scary. No one was there. It was at nighttime, and someone was telling me about this content creator. There's someone online, maybe you should talk to this person. And I was seeing this person, but it's just a representation. There's more people like that. And then I was being shown like a piece of paper, and on the front side of this piece of paper was, I'm divine feminine, I'm this and that, and all the beautiful things. But when I flipped it, it was just darkness and gunk and low vibrational anti-union energy, right? And I started to have this feeling that, okay, I have to talk to my guides about this, but I couldn't hear them for the first time. I was dreaming, right? They were not there, and I grabbed my rods, which that I use. I recently started using them. I use them offline a lot, more for topics of curiosity and science, because when I talk to my guides about my journey and things that I want to ask, I just talk, right? But they grabbed the rods and they started spinning like crazy, and the force tried to like take them out of my hands. And I suddenly felt like my hands were being held like this, open, and I could not move. And that was the moment when I woke up and I was in my bed, and I actually felt that in my bed, that this energy was with me, trying to stop me from getting up and from talking about this. And obviously, at this level of the journey, and if you are a feminine who is resonates with, it doesn't really matter what you do, whether you're a coach or psychic, if you are in your inner union, you're shining bright, you emit a frequency of light, that this happens because light attracts shadow. It's only natural, and it happens to us, right? And twins have such an importance. So I wasn't really scared, right? I was just like calling in my guides, praying to source, like, get the out of my house because it's really disturbing how they always try to get to us. And for those of you who are in the beginning of the journey, you might not even notice. This is how fears comes in. This is how doubt comes in. This is how shadows come in, and you don't realize that it's actually sometimes low vibrational entities trying to stick to your energy, and they attack when you're vulnerable. They attack when you're going through something difficult. They attack when you are sleeping, because many times when we sleep, our astral body is not even there. We just lay there, relax. Our body is relaxing, right? Our body is recharging, our energy body, our physical body, and that's where we're vulnerable, right? And especially when you are in the beginning of this journey, that might sound like crazy. It might sound like something that doesn't happen. But I talk about this a lot. World is filled with low vibrational energies that try to keep us in separation, that try to keep us in darkness. This is who rules patriarchy. This is who rules low vibrational, distorted system that we live in. Constant doubt, constant feeding of that you have to look for something external, you have to look for something physical. Why? Because the system that we live in, the low vibe energies, they don't want union. They don't want us to reach union within. They don't want us to reach union externally, because we're powerful beings of light. All humans who walk the path of awakening, and especially twins, because we're here with a mission. So in order not to get to that mission, well, let's feed us fear, let's feed us doubt, right? So I'm not going to ramble about this anymore, because like I said, I was guided to leave this message for whoever it will find. And it's very difficult, because these messages are not something that people want to hear. And like I said, probably many of you will think that, boo, but I couldn't care less, right? At this level of the journey. And again, whoever is a feminine that would resonate with my energy, that there's a level of this journey where spirituality and all these things, they're your normality, right? They're your normality. This journey is no longer exciting, and every ascension is no longer that exciting. But not in a bad way. It's just normality. It's just reality. It's just something that you've been living for many, many years, and it's part of your life. It doesn't surprise you. It doesn't disturb you. Like I mentioned to you, I wasn't very scared or disturbed at night, and as I woke up, even though I could feel these energies in my room, because I know they can get to me. They can get to any of us. We're protected, but they're trying, right? So it's funny, because I've been talking about this recently with my shaman, because she does amazing work. But even though she is on a journey herself as well, she doesn't specifically talks about that. She's more towards feminine healing, womb healing, past life healing, and so on and so forth. But we were talking about this, that it's so sad that 90% of content is very low vibrational, and at minimum, if it's not done with bad intention, it's very confusing. And that if we only had content creators who know what they talk about, and who are in a place of confidence, strength, light, warrior archetype energy already, right? Because we walk through different archetypes on this level of the journey. It would be so much easier for younger feminines, younger in a sense of newer on the journey, to conquer this faster. So we need to talk about this, to remove this energy. And then all the newly activated twins, it will just be, we do this for you. The first waivers started for us to feel in this a little easier. Second waivers, we do this for the later second waivers and third waivers, so it's easier for you. So we can all reach union, because although it is not given, and although it is not something that you have to choose this journey every day. You have to choose growth. You have to choose yourself. You have to choose detachment to ever get to that point of union. But the intention as we come here as twins is always to get into union, because this is how we reach wholeness, and this is how we truly become unstoppable to create new earth, to assist the great awakening, to remove these peasant energies forever. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna, and it's funny because yesterday I was doing a new attunement for divine masculines, and it was so beautiful, and the vibration of that attunement was so intense, and it was such a high vibration, and so many ascended masters that I've been working with came forth to assist me with this attunement, which was beautiful because it's always such an honor to it's an honor to do these things for you either way, whatever I do. But it was very emotional, it was very high vibrational, it was very powerful. That heart opening and raising to the level of the heart attunement that I'm preparing for the masculines. And it's probably also what attracted these energies, because I'm doing some powerful work right now for the twins, online and offline, because that's what we do, right? We're here for each other. Whatever gifts we have, we use them, not just for the viewers and for the benefit, but for the collective. That's what we do. This is a life of service, right? And if you are a true twinny and true divine feminine, you will know this. That's what we do. So yeah. So just check with yourself. Check with yourself who you talk to about this journey, who you follow. Ask yourself those 3 questions. This is not to confuse you guys. This is not to say like, but I always say this to you when I do the readings. I always recommend to work with a mentor. Choose yourself a mentor, whatever you resonate with. Again, shaman, shadow worker, and a medium like myself, or a coach, whoever speaks to your energy. Ask your guides for confirmation. And instead of, I've mentioned this many times and it's been on my mind heavy, and I think it's came through in a couple of the readings as well. It's beautiful and it's helpful. This is why we do it, to to watch occasionally collective readings. This is also how you learn about the journey. It's helpful to watch the little Reiki videos that you can watch, and some some advisory videos, and it's all beautiful. But every journey is very unique. This journey is very hard. This journey is very long. This journey is full of obstacles. This journey is full of low vibrational energies that keep trying to keep you off your path. And it's just so important to work with someone who has the experience, who is stable in their energy, who know what they're doing, and to have this person once a month, if you can allow yourself, every 2 weeks, whatever you feel like is good for you on that level of the journey, to just really guide you, mentor you, teach you. Because being all over the place online, it's lovely, right? It's lovely, but you really need to stay centered on this journey. No, this is what I want for myself. This is my path. These are my activations. Because many things, like I said, that some feminists share and you hear people talk about, they lovely, but they're not relevant for all twins. There are things that are given for this journey for all of us, but there are things that they're very individual. And putting it out there oftentimes only creates confusion. So consider that. By no means I'm saying to you, come to me on session. I always say this to you guys: there is no worse or better. And that's another indication if someone is a proper content creator or not. There is no better or worse in between coaches, mediums, shamans, tarot readers, whatever. Divine feminine in union, in inner union, is the divine feminine in inner union, in her power, in her glory. It doesn't matter what she does, as long as it resonates with you. She will help you as another fellow sister to get where you want to be, to get at a place of peace and inner union. So that's my message for you for today. A lot of rambling. I love you so incredibly much. Stay strong. Don't let them get to you. Don't let the doubt and the fear get to you. If you have questions, leave them in the comments. I love you. Have an awesome day.